Now let's start off this video by asking you guys a very simple question. That question is, are you guys wanting to unlock the best 22 rimfire accuracy out of your rifle or pistol? If you said yes, this video is for you. Just recently I had the ability and privilege to head out to the Lapua Rimfire Performance Center in Mesa, Arizona, where I sat down with a technician there and discussed and showcased what lot testing is all about. And without a doubt, hands down, lot testing helps achieve the best performance out of your weapon system, regardless if it's a PRS rimfire rifle like this one, a bench rest rifle, or just a factory pistol or rifle like a CZ457. Lot testing, without a doubt, helps unlock the best performance. Now, there's also another benefit with lot testing, and that's the ability to purchase a case of ammo. And being November 2023, obtaining match grade 22 rimfire ammo has been very difficult. So this 20-minute long video is going to be jam-packed full of information about this 130-year-old cartridge. If you guys don't have 20 minutes to dedicate for this video, I highly suggest and recommend you guys come back to this. In the description below, I'm going to have some timestamps about some topics that are discussed in this video. We're going to go over barrel tuners. We're going to go over optimum twist rate, barrel length, what kind of accuracy we are trying to achieve at 50 and 100 meters, and what lot testing is all about. I also want to give a special thanks and appreciation for the time dedicated at the Lapua team there at Mesa, sitting down with the technician and filming this whole process. So big thanks to Ryan and Jeff there at Lapua. I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned. All right, folks, so I'm here joined with Ryan at the Lapua, the Rimfire Performance Center, and we're going to demonstrate exactly what this Performance Center does, showcasing how you can unlock the full potential accuracy out of your rimfire rifle. So Ryan, introduce yourself, let us know who you are. I think you're the new technician here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so my name is Ryan Spoonhour, the new Lapua Rimfire Performance Center specialist here for Mesa. So we have two facilities, one here in Mesa, Arizona, and one in Marengo, Ohio. So I'm the new hire for the Arizona facility. Essentially how this works is we have a bunch of different lots of Lapua products that we can test through your gun to allow you to get the best performance out of your ammo.
So we could test, what's a type of ammo we could use? Is it Center X, Midas Plus, Exact?
Yep, so those three are main Lapua lines. We are not testing super long range or long range at this time. Okay,
so yeah, a lot of questions guys are asking me when the super long range and long range can be lot tested. Essentially, it's still a new product and they're waiting for more shipment to come in. Now, correct. All of Lapua's products are made in Germany, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And they're all shipped out here and for our consumption as a consumer. So the Lapua Rimfire Performance Center, we're going to test on a tunnel. We could test at 50 meters and 100, correct?
Yep, so how the target system works is we have two electronic targets that use lasers essentially. So to create a laser grid, and when the bullet passes through the laser, it marks where it is. So we'll get simultaneous data for both 50 and 100 meters. With one shot.
Guys can send in your rifles. You can send in the complete rifle as you can see here, or you can send in your barreled action. We're going to test today basically a few things. We got a semi-auto 1022 and a couple rimfires with a tuner and without a tuner. Can we send a suppressor?
So it has to suppressors. We can test with suppressors, but you have to come in person.
Gotcha. Yep. Right now, let's demonstrate exactly what we're going to do is get this all set up and show you guys the process. Stay tuned. All right, so we're doing fouling rounds right now. This is to eliminate any possible cold bore ship. You recommend how many rounds down a barrel before they get shipped here?
So generally speaking, I'll test it if it's brand new. Generally speaking, we prefer to have at least 700 rounds. That's not a mandatory statement, but generally speaking, what we find is after 750 to 1,000 rounds, that's when a barrel's really, I guess you could call seasoned in, and that's where you see the best accuracy with our testing.
Gotcha.
Is that X-ring?
Yeah, so that's a good thing to go over. So this is an ISSF 50-meter Olympic style target. So if you watch the Olympics, small bore Olympics, this is the target they're shooting at. The X-ring is roughly 0.2 inches.
Okay.
The 10 ring itself, which is, so the 9 isn't marked, but it's 8, 9, 10, and then X. The 10 ring, I think, is roughly 0.4 inches.
Okay.
Yep. But you'll see that it automatically centers the shots on the target. You can kind of see here, so the first shot is always going to be perfectly center, so it's going to be a perfect 10.9, and you can see that the bullet is larger than the X-ring.
I see.
Now, the nice thing about this new targeting system is we can measure these groups in either inches or millimeters, and we can measure it outside to outside or center to center. So whatever the customer prefers, if you want it measured inches center to center, a lot of MOA shooters like that. Yeah, exactly. But if you say a more international style competitor, we're happy to test it in millimeters outside to outside.
That's perfect.
Our targets are measured at 50 meters and 100 meters, so it's about a 9% increase between 100 yards and 100 meters. So it's pretty safe to get 9% off of your group size. That's what it would be if it was measured like at 100 yards. So we can see there that 50 we had a 0.33 inch group, which is pretty great. It opened up a little bit at 100. That's still not terrible. We'll move on to another lot and see what we do. Generally speaking, we'll shoot 10 in every single lot and then go back to the best ones and then shoot those again.
There is an accuracy difference.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
even, lot to lot, you can see. So this one is actually bigger at 50, but smaller at 100. So if we compared our first lot that we tested, it was 0.33 inches at 50 and 102 at 100. This one actually opened up a little bit at 50, but closed in at 100. That's something that a lot of people are playing with the twist rates. I don't know what twist this barrel is.
Yeah, they're all 1 in 16.
All 1/16. Generally, I know the 1 in 12s, 1 in 13s, 1 in 14s are a lot more popular. We've even tested 1 in 9s. What we found is that within 100, and really, I can't prove this, but within 150 or so, you're going to be better off with 1 in 16. Once you get past 150 or so, that's when the faster twist rates will really apply. I don't think I've tested one of a faster twist rates that's performed better than, say, a standard one in a 1 in 16 here, because once again, we're only testing up to 100. So.
That's awesome. So yeah, I always have that question too. Like, we build a lot of these 22s.
Yep.
What do I see with faster twist rates? Where guys ask me, and I always ask the client, well, why do you want a faster twist rate?
Yeah.
And they said, well, my buddy's shooting this, and they see better performance at 300 yards or whatnot. No, I always explain to them, like, look, when you have faster twist rates, you start inducing more spin drift as well as aerodynamic jump when you're shooting into the wind, which could factor out any possible accuracy gain. So I'm glad you actually brought that up. So here at the facility, 50 and 100 meters, you're not seeing a difference.
No, and if you want a rifle that'll shoot at 100 and in 1 in 16. I mean, these bullets, these ammunition has been designed for the past, well, however long. How old is the 22-1 rifle? 130 years. Yep. Our competitive ammunition has been designed for 1 in 16 or 1 in 16 and a half twist rates for as long as it's been made, essentially. So.
Does this one give you your velocities also?
Yeah. So if I scroll down a little bit. Okay. You can see the velocities right here. So we have a mean, we have min and maximum. So you can get extreme spread and average. We don't have a way to calculate SD here.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you're saying that even though this lot right here that we shot out of my rifle didn't shoot as good, it will shoot very well in someone else's rifle?
Absolutely. And I think that's telling by the fact that we don't have ammunition for more than, like, any lot that we have isn't here longer than, say, a month or two.
Right.
All of the ammunition that we test here will perform great in someone's gun. It's all about the barrel, and it's all about the ammo and how they react to each other, essentially.
Yeah, and that's just that mystery that we're always trying to figure out as a gun manufacturer. Hey, what is the secret sauce to put together a really consistent, accurate rifle? This actually pretty much determines that lot testing is a key factor for rimfire accuracy. Now, you could have a really accurate rifle, putting these heavy contour barrels on here, like I do, tuners or whatnot, but in the end, it's still the end result of the ammunition, and that's why facilities like the Lapua Rimfire Performance Test Center are very crucial when guys are trying to get that ultimate accuracy out of their platform.
So the theory that you have to use Midas or Exact over Center X because it's always better isn't necessarily true for that specific rifle.
Yeah, that's a really important point. A lot of people don't realize that there's actually no real difference between Center X, Midas, and Exact. It's all the same bullets, same powder, same cases, same priming compound. Everything's the same. The only difference is after a lot's done being made, it gets tested. Based on the results of the testing, determines their value, essentially.
So it's more of a consistency factor that you guys are separating out.
Exactly. So you would expect to see Exact perform better than Midas and Midas perform better than Center X, but that's not always the case. Some guns prefer center X, or some guns prefer certain lots of center X over, say, Midas or
Just
XX.
as a whole, exact might perform better than Midas, which might perform better than center X.
Exactly, but you
Not
can't
necessarily in a specific gun.
Yeah, you can't guarantee that. That's why the test setter is so important, because you can really see what lot performs best in your gun. You can definitely see the verticality.
Yeah.
This is a lot that if you were to say, hey, show me a lot that could be tunable,
Right.
this is kind of it.
This is it right
That
here.
verticality you're going to see, that's something that you might be able to squeeze down a little bit if you play for tuner settings. If you get a lot that just spread out horizontally, you're not going to be able to do much with the tuner.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too as well with playing with these things. And then it also changes when you're in different regions of density altitude.
Absolutely.
So it's like, well, now you're retuning and having to waste more ammo.
Right.
So that's why I said for us, accuracy is obviously important for PRS shooters, but really, if you could, hold MOA, I mean, these targets are
Consistency.
it's consistency we're looking for. So tuners just play another variable to get to play with. But this is the last lot, right?
Yeah, so this is the last lot of center X, and we went from a 1 inch even to a 0.68 inch, so that's a very good lot.
Yeah.
It shows consistency. It's not that much different. And if you look at 50, we went from a 0.38 to a 0.37, so almost exactly the same size at 50.
So this is the same lot we're testing the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's almost exactly what the other 10 series was like. So we went from a 1.26 to 1.25. The 50s were almost exactly the same too, 0.48 and 0.47. If you look at how concentric the group was, it's almost identical.
Yeah.
So even though, that's another thing I would like to bring up, even you might have a lot that shoots a 1.5 and a 0.86.
Right.
You see that 0.86 and you're like, oh, that's the best group of the day.
Right.
I'd much rather have a group or a lot that shoots two almost identically than one a lot better and one maybe not as good.
Exactly. Consistency wins the matches.
Yep.
So we're retesting a exact lot, but this time we're using the block, and we're going to see the difference here. But
Well,
there's the flyer.
so we're going over the results here, just so you can see what is going on in the printouts. Obviously, we have the date, we have the distance. So if we look farther on in the test results, we'll see that the distance obviously has changed to 100 meters. But ammunition type, the batch number, once again, these first digit and that dash doesn't mean anything to you. That's just for our own inventory's sake. Everything after that dash is what is important. That's the actual lot number that leaves the factory. So we're looking at here, in lots that we only shot 10 of, you only see one target on top. This number is on the top left corner, designates how many shots are in that group. Okay. This is your group size, and then this is the score as if it was shot on an ISSF 50-meter Olympic style target. Essentially, you want this to be as low as possible and that to be as high as possible.
Gotcha.
On a lot, say like this one where we have more than 10 shots, you'll have a 10-shot group, and if the targets were working 100%, you'd have another 10-shot group. But honestly, what this does is we have a 10, a 1, and a 9-shot group. But over here on the bottom, we have all 20 combined. So even though the computer did have a little bit of a problem and it did that 1-shot group and a 9-shot group, overall, you still have all 20 shots. It doesn't change the group at all.
I see.
D-max is the size of all 20 shots. So this 20-shot group is a 0.63. So you can see that even though you had a 0.41 and a 0.43, when you have all of them combined, it does open itself up a little bit.
Okay.
On this left, or on this right here, this chart, this shows your shot dispersion. So once again, as if it was shot on an ISSF 50-meter Olympic target, a 10.9 is perfectly center, a 10.8 is about a 1/4 millimeter off in any direction, and every number after that is so on and so forth farther away from the center. Ideally, in an exactly perfect world, what you'd see is a line chart that looks like this. You have as most shots as possible in the center and then a few away from the center. Realistically, what you're going to see is some sort of bell curve with most spots. So when we're looking through lots right here, for like a PRS gun, for example, I'm not really that concerned about 50 meters because most of the competitors aren't really worried about 50 meters.
Yep.
So what I would do is just move on to the 100 meters and then we'll go from there. So right here we have this lot of Center X, which performed fairly well. We had a 0.91 and a 1.14 inch group. That's fairly good. The scores of those are actually really good. So we had a 101.7 and a 98.5. That's really good when we're shooting 100 meters. If you look at the average right here, that's a little skewed because if you remember back to the 50 meter lot, we had a 10, a 1, and a 9 shot group. What that's doing is it's taking the average of a 10 shot group, a 9 shot group, and also a 1 shot group. So that's going to make the average way lower. But on all the other lots that we shot twice of, such as this one, that will be their correct average.
Okay.
So we're looking at the group size here. D-max, all 20 shots landed in 1.25, so 1 1/4. Mm-hmm. We're at 100 meters, so if you want to convert that to 100 yards, take about 9.4% of that off. So we're just over an inch at 100 yards. Velocities remain fairly consistent. We had a little bit of an extreme spread shift there, but not too bad. Shot dispersion doesn't mean as much at 100 meters because some of the shots may be off this chart because once again this is a 50 meter target that we're shooting at 100 meters on essentially, but what we see here is a fairly good dispersion. Group size is not bad, fairly consistent between two lots, but I think we have better, so what we'll do is we'll move on from that one.
Okay.
So this is the other lot of Center X that we shot twice. This one performed very well, average of a 0.84 with a 1 even and a 0.68. So a little bit larger in the firsts, but if you look at the 20 shot group, you can see where it's grouped and it's fairly consistent. One nice thing about that is even though we shot them back to back, there was no point of impact shift or anything like that. So all 20 shots still landed within 1 inch.
Wow.
Yeah, which is very good.
Yep.
20 shot group at 1 inch at 100 meters, that's very impressive. Shot dispersion is exactly what you want to see. A little bit less than an extreme spread. Score is very good. I'm leaning towards this lot right now, but we'll go back and look at it later. This had an overall 20 shot group size of 1.09, so very good once again. This one was, I think, the most consistent between both 10 shot series of a 0.93 and a 107. Once again, ignore the average.
Yep.
So you can see that it may be, I'm not sure if it's double grouping or that's just how the shot dispersion is going off. If we were to shoot 60 or 70 more shots, what you'd probably find is all this empty space is filled in.
Right.
I don't think it's really double grouping. I think that's just what it seems like when we have 20 shots on paper. Shot dispersion is not quite as good in this one though.
Okay.
This is probably our most vertical group. We had a really good first 10 shot group, and then the second 10 opened up a little bit. Overall 1.23, that's still not bad at all. This is a group that if this was the best one in your gun, I think this is one that you could probably tune to even more. A group like this, you're not going to be able to do much with tuning. It's very horizontal, very wide.
Right.
Whereas the group right here that's very tall, that's something that you could probably tune down if you played with it a little bit. So looking at all the factors together, as well as the velocity, so we have score, size, velocity, shot dispersion. There's a lot of factors that go into making a decision like this.
Right.
Which is why it's important to come and get tested, make sure you know what you're doing, and you have the specialists here to guide you making your decision. I don't think you go wrong with either of these lots, but personally I think the Center X outperforms the Midas a little bit,
right,
and it's saving you a few dollars.
Well, that's where I'm going to emphasize too. You know, you said let the specialist decide. Well, he does this all day, guys. So go off his recommendation. Don't just go off what you see on the paper there.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if you like a lot that I didn't point out, I don't think you could go wrong with either of these. Or any of these lots, honestly, I think you'd be fine. You'd score just adequately in any discipline with any of these lots,
right?
As we talked about earlier. But I think that based on what I've seen, both on this rifle as well as rifles in the past, either the Center X or this Midas will perform the best.
Well, folks, we just finished up the Lapua Rimfire Performance Center and testing 3 different rifles: the 1022, 2 Rim X's, one in a 24-inch barrel and a 22-inch barrel. And pretty eye-opening experience being able to see what lot testing does. Ryan, I want to thank you for the time you showed us, basically demonstrating how this all works. And anything you want to add to all this?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys coming out here, and I'm glad to be able to get some footage out to you guys. I know some of these questions are hard to get answers for.
Right.
I think that the biggest thing I'd like to say is just as a takeaway, this test center here, is just the easiest way for you to get your match ammunition. You can always go to your gun store like I did in the past, growing up, and you buy 5 or 6 lots and hope that one of them shoots and go back in the gun store and hope it's still there. Or you can come here and get the ammunition that's going to be best in your gun, one easy step. It really is the best way to get your match ammo if you're interested in getting your performance to that next level.
Absolutely. So if you guys are looking at sending in your rifle, I'll put a contact information on how to get a hold of you, basically. Yep. Set up a date, time to either send in your Rimfire rifle or you can come in person. If you are one of my clients, you can work with me and call me specifically. I'll see if I can set up a time frame to come down, work with Ryan as well, and do exactly the same thing we've done today. So I want to say thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.